Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for you to take your seats. The show is about to begin.
Musical, lyrical, lingo. Every episode a new bingo. Laugh and sing, go with the flow. Tune in as the memories grow.
Hello and welcome to Musical, Lyrical, Lingo. We're your hosts, Tim
And LJ, today and every week we will be discussing musicals, but specifically what they taught us. Hey.
You're back.
Well, where was I going to go?
Well, I was considering
Oh, right, replacing me.
replacing you.
You've never been able to replace me in your life.
I know, because I would fear my life.
Shut up.
You'd come after me.
I would. I wouldn't allow it.
No, what would I do that?
I like just showing up at your door. Hi.
Because you're the bossy one.
Yeah, actually. Yeah.
Lauren has found like old videos from back in the day when we were
Teenagers.
we youngsters, and I know they won't. But you'll never see them. They'll never appear on
No.
socials. I'm so glad because
No,
you
they
know.
won't. Yeah, no,
better.
no, they won't.
Because it shows you in a really good light. An absolute bossy bits.
I know, but I can't believe how bossy I was even back then. Like, I know that I'm a bit bossy now, but I just thought that was being a mum.
Yeah.
But, you know, and like shouting and
Is that
asking people
what-
to clean their plates.
That's what you have to be. Is that bossy when you're mummy?
Well, I mean, I don't think so, but I know that that's how I run my house.
How I run my house.
Like per Aaron literally put his plate in the sink and turned round to like speak to our children. I was like, who put their plate in the sink?
Really?
So I mean, yeah,
Fair.
yeah.
You're just the boss. And
I'm
that's
the
okay.
boss.
Do you know who else is the boss?
Hey,
Cynthia Erivo.
what is she not
I think
doing?
I'm like slightly obsessed with this girl now.
I feel, yeah, she's amazing. She's wonderful. But is it? They're just slapping her and everything now.
No, I don't think so. No, because I think she's just still being her.
Yeah.
And I knew of her before Wicked came about. Do you know what I mean? Like most of us.
No, I know.
Do you know what I mean? But
No,
I'm
I
just like, she was always amazing, and it was only a matter of time.
Yes.
And I think even without Wicked, don't get me wrong, like Wicked is gonna just have propelled her,
Mhm.
but I still think she always would have done had a pretty decent career. Do you know what I mean? I just
Yeah.
because I think she can do theatre. I think she can do, you know, her voice is great for like a recording artist. Do you know what I mean? And she also
Yeah.
is good on
Well,
screen.
Wicked has just made her more mainstream. She was
Yeah.
always massive in musical theatre
I
land,
think that's what I'm trying to
And-
say.
but she is just now. And you know what? Because she is so awesome, they
Yeah.
are almost using her as a pilot to try her in different things that
Yeah.
people.
But I
Yes,
also
maybe
think there's
else
a bit
wouldn't
of
do.
credibility to her in that I don't think she'll say yes to everything.
No.
I think she'll only do the things that she
Yeah.
wants to do or she thinks are
Yeah.
credible enough.
Speaking of Wicked, though, did you see that? Was it yesterday? The trailer, like the little tiny
Have
trailer.
they released a trailer?
Literally, it was like 6 months to go. That was literally like 5 seconds.
Interesting.
So we're close.
The Wicked for Good promotion train has started,
Mhm.
hasn't it? Because NBC has also announced that Revo and Ariana Grande will front a new event special, which will come out ahead of the movie sequel release on the 21st of November.
And we're going to go and see it together again.
1,000%.
Okay, that's good.
I think we'll also have to have a wee Wicked night.
Yes,
Before
prior. Yeah.
Before part 2,
Sounds
just to
good.
refresh our memories. Because I'm also been really good. I haven't watched it since the 3 times I watched it the first time round. Do you know what I mean?
that is good.
No, I know, but I think I'm okay with that. I think I'm all right to leave that
Okay.
until
Closer to the time.
just until part 2.
Okay.
But also on Cynthia Erivo news, she is going to be returning to the West End, and I also love this about her in that she hasn't turned her back on
Yeah.
the start of her career. Do you know what I mean? Just because she's like doing movies now, and her album's going to be coming out soon as well. Like, theatre is still there in her heart, and I like that. So she's going to be returning to the West End for a solo Dracula.
This excites me.
I know. She will be playing all roles, 23 characters to be precise. And it's going to open in the Noel Card Theatre on the 4th of February 2026. And tickets will be released later this year. Now, hands up. There's a lot of 2026 news this week on musical theatre news. But it's important to know.
Well, I mean, we're nearly halfway through the year. It's only going to make sense.
I suppose I haven't thought of it like that. We're nearly, And
I should say that the Dracula is like a follow-on from... so it's the same cast that have just done a one-woman production, and she was in... Succession. She was the female in Succession. She won some Oliviers and Tonys and all for it. So it's
Dracula?
No, not Dracula. They did like an Oscar Wilde.
One woman
thing. So this is the same team are doing this now for Dracula. So
clever.
This will be really good. Yeah.
Also, Operation Mincemeat.
Yes.
Which is doing wonderfully well on Broadway, as we knew it would.
Yeah.
I would like to see it too. It's going to be doing a world and UK tour in 2026, launching a global spanning world tour beginning on the 16th of February next year in the Lorry in Manchester.
Yeah. It worries me though, because it just says world and UK.
Yeah,
there's no Ireland
we
there.
might have to go across the water.
I know.
Or maybe go to some nice country in the world.
Oh, let's do that.
International.
Okay.
I mean, we've done our London trip. Maybe next
Germany.
year, 2026, we need to do international.
Let's do it.
Also, Legally Blonde is going to be going out on another UK and Ireland. So don't worry. It'll at least come to the Bord Gosh tour next year, starting in Leicester's Curve Theatre on the 7th of February.
Yeah.
And it's going to be touring until the 7th of January 2027.
I think it'll be super popular though.
That's a big tour.
Yeah.
If you got that contract, you'd be delighted, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Delighted with yourself.
Absolutely. And I suppose we should really mention friends of the pod who have been nominated for 3 Emmys are Shamrock Tenor Boys.
I know.
So our lovely Raymond is up for 3 Emmys, and then all the boys are up for an Emmy for performance, and they're just back from their American tour and they're about to go out to Australia, so there's another wee tour for them. Well done, boys.
Well done indeed.
What are we doing today?
Oh, it's a wee musical.
A wee musical
that I haven't visited for a very long time, and this is why I love this podcast, because it gives you an excuse, or it reminds you. And I almost felt guilty when I listened to this again that I haven't been listening to it on a more regular basis, because I actually realised, isn't hindsight and time a great thing? Because I realised just how significant and special this musical was to me. And it's a bit weird because I haven't listened to it in a very long time.
That's strange.
So I'm really I'm kind of a wee bit crushing on our musical this week. Yeah.
Are you?
It's Top Hat.
Top Hat.
If not the greatest of Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers musicals, Top Hat was the most successful. And with its silver-topped canes and top hats, surely the most iconic of their movies. By 1935, Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers had made several appearances together, but Top Hat was the first movie musical that was conceived as a showcase for their dancing partnership.
Yeah. And they were magical.
Yeah, magical. However, weirdly, I came to the musical, as in the stage musical, before the film.
Oh, okay.
I hadn't seen the film.
Really?
Until I saw this. Yeah, exactly.
That's
weird.
so odd.
So weird.
That surprises me.
Yes, but also don't forget, I'm not like you. Like the older movie musicals, I haven't watched very many of them.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? Because I'm a bit of a snob because if it's in black and white, I'm not bothered.
Right,
Do you
okay.
know what
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah.
And obviously, then I watch them and go, oh yeah, that was amazing.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Some of the older movie musicals I haven't watched.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I saw the musical in London and then watched the film.
Okay.
And went, oh,
Yeah, it's beautiful.
just as beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's one that I've seen, the movie I've seen a lot, but I didn't always remember it. Is that it didn't, apart from their magical dancing.
Yeah.
And that's very iconic. The storyline, it's one that I went to obviously research it for the pod. I was like, oh yes, this is what Top Hat's about.
Yeah.
I couldn't have told you what the storyline was.
Well, this is the thing. Like the Top Hat's plot is essentially the standard issue Hollywood musical form.
Mm-hmm.
Dwight Taylor and Alan Scott's screenplay is built around the boy meets girl, girl hates boy, boy dances with girl, girl falls in love formula of old. Do you know what I mean?
And a wee bit of mix-up going on there.
There's not really much of a plot to it.
Yeah.
But what did mark the film out from its predecessors in the Astaire Rogers series was the score.
Yeah.
And actually, the songs weren't just a grab bag of already existing numbers, but they were written specifically for the movie.
Yes.
And they were written by Irving Berlin.
Beautiful.
Yes. The man once called the best all-round overall songwriter America has ever had.
Yeah.
All but one of its songs have gone on to become jazz standards. Mm-hmm. And that was the other thing. You knew the music before you saw the film, or you saw, certainly from our age. Yeah. You knew of some of these songs. You could hum along or sing them. Even as we were getting ready for the podcast tonight, I was whistling one of them, and Aaron went, "Oh, that song's from this." And it's like this because they're jazz standards. Yeah. But you just didn't necessarily know they were from this musical. Film. Yeah. Top Hat grossed $1.7 million at home in America, and then $1.4 million overseas, making it RKO's most profitable film of the 1930s.
1930s. Mm. So, EP, what is that in today's money? Like, what, 3 million, pretty much?
Yeah.
Yeah. In the 1930s, dollar. Like that is huge. A substantial amount of money. Yeah. But they had magic, didn't they? Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers, and
beautiful.
This
57.5 million roughly.
57.5. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, listen, they were a special partnership.
And this is a lovely little story, and it's all around dancing, which is great.
It's the music and dancing is front and center. Mm-hmm. It's not about
the story.
Terrible, the story, or even the characters. Yeah. It's let's just dance.
Yeah.
Let's face the music and dance.
Dance. So it was 2011 when the stage musical, which is based on the 1935 film. Music and lyrics, obviously, Irving Berlin, but then there was some additional orchestration by Chris Walker.
Yep.
The book is by Matthew White and Howard Jacks. It first opened in Milton Keynes.
Milton Keynes,
Keynes. And toured the UK before it went to the West End in 2012.
Yeah, opening in the Aldwych Theatre.
But did you see it there? Mm-hmm. It did win multiple Tony Awards in 2013.
Yeah.
And then
Olivia Awards,
sorry. Yeah. And then UK and Ireland tour in 2014, and then it was announced literally
mental.
Like
we keep doing this,
people. Had decided we were doing this musical, and then it was announced that there will be a revival from July the 14th to the 6th of September.
And do you know what excites me about this revival?
What?
It's opening in the Chichester Festival Theatre, and it's been directed and choreographed by Kathleen Marshall. Anything that is in the Chichester Festival Theatre is a hit and is brilliant. So like
Oliver.
Oliver,
Yeah.
that's currently in the West End, was a transfer from Chichester Theatre. One of my other favourites that we haven't done on the pod, and God help us when we do, because I will be lushing all over it, is Half a Sixpence. It was in Chichester, and then it transferred to the Mac and Mabel of
that's right.
recent years. I saw in Chichester Theatre, and I was sitting out in the foyer waiting to go in, and Marion Margulies was about 5 metres
my
to my
goodness.
right, and I didn't pluck up the courage to go over and say hello to her, because I adore the woman, but she also scares me a little bit, so that's why I didn't approach. But that is one of my biggest kick-me moments. Like, I kick myself every day that I didn't go over, and I'm going to see her in October, and she just needs to stay alive that long so that I can see her live.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. Yep.
No, which is, you know,
Okay, yeah,
coming
yeah,
on a
sure,
bit. No,
sure.
she is coming on a
Yes.
bit. I am concerned. It's a genuine concern.
Okay.
I adore the woman. Anyway, so the fact that it's opening in Chichester Theatre, this revival of Top Hat, it's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing.
Does that mean that you're hopeful that it'll have a transfer?
Oh, I really hope so.
Okay.
Either that, or I'll have to rob a bank and go and see it in Chichester.
Okay.
Although it's a bit, Chichester's a bit annoying, like, because it's a bit out of the way. Like, do you know what I mean? Unless you stay in Chichester.
Yeah.
But if I'm going to go over, I want to go to a few other shows. But it's very exciting.
Yeah.
Very, very exciting. The stage show features 14 of the songs by Berlin, plus 6 more songs than the original film production. Yeah. And the producers were very clever. For the West End show in casting Strictly Come Dancing winner Tom Chambers.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, he's done TV and stuff as well, in the role that was originated by Fred Astaire. And Astaire's daughters were actually in the audience.
They were.
When the show opened in London, and they described Chambers as wonderful.
Wonderful.
And what I thought this was a lovely quote about the show. They said that the show was a beautiful production, and it definitely gives new life to these songs and to Top Hat for a younger generation.
100%.
And that was me. That
100%.
was 100% what it did to me.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that it got the seal of approval from 2 of Berlin's daughters and Fred Astaire's daughter. I just think that there's just something lovely about that. It just kind of is like that is because they're Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers movies and style of dancing was very of its time.
Yeah.
The fact that so many years later it was given a revival, and then, like I said, new audiences, but even they have gone, do you know what, this is lovely, and I think that our parents would have been very proud of it. And I just think it's fun.
Absolutely. Shall we move on to your musical lyrical lingo?
Well, yeah, I suppose we've talked about. No, I'm just saying, like, it is that sort of romance comedy of errors, and I think that. But as you said, it's mainly the dancing that just drives the story forward.
The costumes were beautiful too,
and it's a 31 person cast, which is quite large.
And but my goodness, did they work hard.
And there is a bit of confusion, miscommunication, and it changes from London to Venice. So there's a lot going on, like in the story, but really there's not at the same time. It's just anyway. It is heartwarming and it is timeless. So let's do our musical lyrical lingos. Do you know what? I didn't do it in order this week.
What is wrong?
I know,
with you?
because I was kind of not listening to the songs in order, so I was like writing down So I won't be able to say it. The Piccolino. First of all, why does that song remind me of Bon Voyage from Anything Goes?
I don't know.
Oh, tell me you felt the same. Go home tonight. Listen to it. It is da-da-da, da-da-da, da-da-da.
Yeah, fair enough.
Thank you. I love when he validates my theories.
It was better than last week's Book of Mormon links.
And that means little one.
Yes. I went on a bit of a race around the world to try and find out what the heck a piccolino was. Yeah. Because it does mean little one, and it isn't Italian.
Yes.
But it also, that didn't make a huge amount of sense in the song.
Yeah.
Because they were talking about play the piccolino. because obviously it's Italian. I'm working on my Italian. Piccolino also refers to several musical instruments. However, including small, they're all small instruments.
They're all small.
Saxophone and metronome. It is also used in general sense to denote a small version of a larger instrument like a piccolo trombone.
Oh.
But it also means little one, like a young child. Piccolino.
Well, yes, because at this point in the story, they've moved to Venice.
Yes.
Like the story's now in Venice. So they're sort of talking about that. They also talk about the Adriatic Sea.
Yes.
Is that right? Yeah, is that right?
Yep.
Which is a semi-enclosed arm of the Mediterranean Sea, which is located between Italian and the Balkan peninsulas.
Well done.
Go me, I said big words.
You're also talking geography.
Which I have no clue what that means. What is a semi-enclosed arm? What is a semi-enclosed arm?
So if you think about our peninsula,
okay.
It's like it's a bit of land that juts out. It's a peninsula. That's what a peninsula is,
Okay.
right? But there is like
A little bit of sea.
in the inside. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
Just think of it like an arm
Right.
that sticks out
Okay.
from the main body of land.
Oh.
God, I'm good, aren't I? I should have
you're
been a
so-
geography teacher.
When you ever head, what does that look like?
A bit.
You know where the heel in the back of the calf would be?
Yeah.
Drop it in there.
Wow.
There you go.
Okay. See, I'm learning. I'm constantly learning.
You
It does
are-
mention plate of scallopine.
Mhm.
Did I say it right? No. Which is just thin meat.
Scallopino.
Scallopino.
Yeah.
Thin meats.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you eat that a lot when you're in Italy?
Oh yeah. Don't.
You're
don't
so close.
Talk to me about Italy, because honest to goodness, if I could get on a flight this evening and go, I would do it and
Yeah.
not come back.
No, you got to come back. We've
But
got a podcast
I
today.
think I'd have to do it remotely. I'd be coming on, going, "Oh, my little piccolino."
My plate of scallopine.
Touche, like that.
So yeah, that's what I learned. So I learned that it's very like bon voyage and anything goes. And I learned about a semi-enclosed arm within that song. What are your musical lyrical lingos?
Well, the song I was whistling before the pod was Putting on the Ritz.
Putting on the Ritz.
Did you know Putting on the Ritz was inspired by the sight of black residents in Harlem dressing up in fancy clothes as if going to the Ritz-Carlton? In slang, it means to dress very fashionably.
Yeah, it was written in 1927. It was written before. Means to dress fashionably, inspired by the Ritz Hotel. One of the few songs to feature in multiple musicals. Did you know that?
Yeah. Well, Irving Berlin's tunes do pop up every so often in a couple of places.
Yeah.
Because I know I got very confused the first time I was working on Crazy For You.
Yes.
And I was like, this song, I can't remember what song, is it Someone to Watch Over You,
Yes,
maybe?
yeah.
Was in another musical.
Yeah.
And I was like, what's going on?
Yeah.
But his songs were liked and adored and kind of nabbed for a few different musicals.
But there's actually not that many songs which do feature, apart from like jukebox musicals, which maybe are feature a couple of similar songs. But anyway, but this is one of them. So it featured obviously in Top Hat.
Yeah.
And then Idiot's Delight, which was Clark Gable starting that. And then it had like a revival in Young Frankenstein, which is the 1974 musical. Great musical.
As Frankenstein does his tap routine.
His tap routine.
Hilarious.
At the end. Really good. But in the film Top Hat, Putting on the Ritz, this is the first song in film to be sung by an interracial ensemble.
There you go.
Isn't that great?
It's great.
Yeah.
They sing dressed up like $1 million trooper, trying hard to be like Gary Cooper. Super duper. I didn't know who Gary Cooper was.
No, he's Gary Cooper.
Gary Cooper was an American actor known for a strong silent screen persona and understated acting style. To be fair to the man, I don't think I've seen any of his films,
No.
but he won 2 Academy Awards and had further 3 nominations, and he received an honorary Academy Award for his career achievements in 1961. So he must have been decent if he was getting an honorary.
Yeah.
And I mean, they've mentioned him and
Mentioned
putting
him
on
in
the
the
Ritz,
song,
so he
yeah.
must be all right. Like,
there were spangled gowns upon the bevy of high brows, which is said. So bevy can have 2 meanings. So it's either a large group or collection of people or things, but also slang for a drink.
nice.
But that's not what they're talking
Give
about.
us
They're
a
talking about how bevy is a large group or collection.
Yeah.
And then where all Lullabelle go?
Yeah.
Lullabelle just means a famous beauty. And then Harlem Blitz, is that what I said? Yeah, light and swift movements.
There you go.
Oh, there we go.
One of my favourite wee songs, just because it's a wee cute one, is I'm putting all my eggs in one basket. If someone puts all their eggs in one basket, they're putting all their efforts or resources into doing one thing so that if it fails, they have no alternatives. So people are often encouraged, don't put all of your eggs in the one basket. But I was like, okay, where'd that come from? Where did that originate from? So the exact origin, it's a bit annoying when this is the answer you get after spending hours of researching, of the phrase is debated. Great, really helpful.
Okay.
But it's often attributed to the Spanish writer Miguel de Cervantes. I probably said his name wrong. He wrote Don Quixote in 1605.
I've heard of that.
Yeah. But interestingly, Top Hat, the Top Hat song, originally sung by Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers, further popularised the idiom.
Oh, okay.
So actually, putting all the people who use that idiom today are semi-inspired by the Top Hat song.
Well, do you know that your dad used that expression once whenever I was obviously a little child, and I asked him, I was like, what do you mean? What does that mean?
God, he really had an impact on you, didn't he? you mention him on this podcast more than I do.
Oh, okay.
That's nice, though.
Yeah, I mean,
That's nice.
but I mean, you forget that
He
we've
often
been in
told me
each other's
not to
lives
put
a
all the
long
eggs in
time.
one basket either.
Well, I think he had said, maybe he was saying it to you or something. I was like, what does that mean?
Oh,
so I was like, yeah. But I do remember being in a car, so we must have been going somewhere. And I definitely wasn't like, we were teenagers. I do remember being young. And not so strange. So I love that, like, whenever I haven't heard that song, I was like, oh yeah, it was actually Ian that I associate that idiom
nice,
with.
that idiom.
Yeah.
Idiom and stuff sometimes. Anyway, moving on.
He won't know because he doesn't listen to the pod because he thinks
No.
it takes us too long to get into the actual musical.
He picks and chooses, that's for sure. I mean, it goes without saying, top hat, white tie and tails just refers to the formal wear required on a party invitation of the time.
Yeah.
I mean, for somebody who doesn't like dressing up, I hate dressing up. Like, you know, if you're like going out somewhere fancy.
Oh, right, okay.
Like,
you hate, like
most guys would put on a shirt
black
and
tie.
stuff like that. Or, you know, like at a wedding you wear a suit. I flipping hate all that.
Okay.
I hate it. And I think it's because for my day job, it's normally a shirt and tie every day and trousers. Do you know what I mean? I just hate dressing up fancy. It's tight. It's uncomfortable. I don't enjoy it. However, try and stop me wearing a top hat, white tie and tails. Honest to God.
And black and white shoes.
Spats. I have several pairs.
I know.
Honest to goodness, try and stop me.
Yeah. I know. It is a good look that should be brought back.
Do you know, controversial statement here.
What?
I don't know if the men of today could pull off a top hat, white tie and tails.
Not very many
Even
could.
the way they slicked their hair back in the day and all of that. You aren't showing us slick back hair there. Scalp. Oh, I'm not far behind the sunshine. Yeah. So that's top hat, white tie and tail. Also, great number.
Yeah, fantastic. Did you know Cheek to Cheek was nominated for an Oscar and it was actually inducted into the Grammy Hall of Fame in the year 2000?
I did know it got an Oscar. It was one of Top Hat's 4. Was it 4 Academy Awards they won? They were nominated for 4: Best Picture, Art Direction, Original Song for Cheek to Cheek, and Dance Direction. Yeah.
Yeah, but I also love that that's in the Hall of Fame.
Hall of Fame, I know.
It's a great song, and that
Dancing
we know
cheek
that
to
as well because it was in our
cheek.
Hollywood number. A number of songs from Top Hat were in our Hollywood number.
Well, this is my biggest learning.
What?
So remember at the beginning of the podcast, I realised just how special this was. And I remember when I went to see it in London, not knowing what I was going to see, because don't forget,
You didn't know.
I hadn't watched the film. And I sat down and every song that came on, I knew. And yes, I know they are jazz, staples. But actually the reason I knew them was because of stage skill and because of, you just mentioned, our Hollywood routine. Yeah. And they were like literally cheek to cheek, putting on the Ritz, Let's Face the Music and Dance, Top Hat, White Tie and Tail. Yeah. And we learnt them all as a young person. Do you know what I mean? And it just made me, I was researching it and it just made me think of Vivi. Yeah. And just, there are certain people who you come across in life who leave such a lasting memory. Yeah. Or hold such a special place in your heart. And I hadn't thought of her in a while, and it made me think of her, and it made me remember me sitting in that London theatre going, oh my goodness, I know all these songs. Like, and they're tap dancing. And I knew those songs and I knew how to tap dance. And because actually I remembered going, none of these routines are really difficult. Like I could give these a go because it was, the basic tap steps. Now don't get me wrong, they were executed unbelievably and they were all showstoppers, every single last one. But I went, this all just resonates with me because of one person. Yeah, that's it. This one person, it taught us those moves and introduced us to those songs and that era which we didn't grow up in, and I do feel, and I've mentioned on this podcast before, I do feel I have a fondness for the older musical. And I think it's also partly, now don't get me wrong, I definitely think my parents have a part to play in that too, because they love the likes of Guys and Dolls and all those. But, it was those older musicals that we were introduced to in stage school. Yeah. It was the Oklahomas. It was the, those old standards, and I think that's why I love, like, if you hand me a revival of an old musical and a brand new musical, probably 9 times out of 10, I'll go, actually want to go to see the revival rather than go and see the new musical. Yeah. And I think it's because of people like Vivi. Sorry, that got a wee bit. No. But do you know what? It just hit me. I went, oh my God. Like, my learning from this musical is I went to see this and I absolutely loved it because it was an old-fashioned, like, jazzy musical. I knew all the songs. I could do the tap dancing, and it was all because of... And it was nostalgic, because then and you were thinking about a time when we had, and we mentioned it loads, like our little dance trip was so fortunate of the experiences that we got. Now, I know that you didn't get that first experience of when we did Hollywood because it was like a London trip. But you were then very much... See how you're throwing that in there? No, but I just mean it wasn't a one-off because actually it was class. Yeah. And then I was so jealous of that London trip though. I was so cross. That's on video somewhere. So you could watch it and pretend like you were there. For the listeners, the girls in stage school went to London and performed, but the routine they were doing only required the girls. Yeah. And I wasn't taken. I was raging. I was so cross. And it happened more than once, didn't it? Going to London. It's fine. It's fine. When I was slightly older, I went to Bromley. Well, I didn't get to go there, so there you go. So. That's so rude. I hope the
know.
listeners didn't hear that insult that your husband paid you.
But
Listen
yes,
to.
like even in that, we were introduced to characters like Mae West and
Yeah.
all of that stuff that then who maybe didn't know about, we went and did. So I suppose it's really by dropping little things like that, that's where we realised that musicals could teach us stuff.
Yeah.
So way back
But
then.
it drives me insane because sometimes in stage school, like we will like, you know, we do wee bits and pieces. Like we don't do full shows because we have too many kids to showcase in one show. So we'll do wee bits and pieces of this, that, and the other, and it drives me insane because every year we will try and pick, you know, an older musical or, you know, one of the classics because you learn so much from them. And you do get, because it's not one of the new fancy modern musicals. And it's like, no, you learn so much from, you wouldn't have your modern fancy musicals today if these guys didn't pave the way.
Yeah.
So pipe down and learn something.
And you will learn something.
And they do. And like at the end of the process of, you know, dragging them along, no, I'm joking, there's no dragging along. But by the end of it, they've absolutely thoroughly enjoyed themselves and had a wonderful time, and they have learned a lot.
Yeah.
It's like, just go with the flow.
I'm trying to think. See, whenever you were inserted into our Hollywood routine, what did you wear?
I know. I knew you were thinking of that. It was a shiny silver waistcoat, black trousers, white shirt, shiny waistcoat, and shiny silver bow tie.
Right. Okay. I can think because we had these like 1930s style, like short, like all in one bodysuit. Whenever obviously the older girls were in that from the very beginning, we were little background singers, and we had ruffly Shirley Temple things, and then we progressed up to that. But I was like, was Timothy in hot pants too? What was he in?
No. They tried to get me into the hot pants, but I said no. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And I think we also enjoyed doing the Hollywood because it was new. Do you remember?
Or did I wear I'm now doubting myself. Did I wear a tailcoat?
Did you?
I think
no, because we had the tailcoats were for stepping out.
I'm mixing up stepping out. Yeah.
We're for stepping out. Another good musical.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was just I couldn't remember what you had wore there. But yeah, sorry, the Hollywood routine was new. We were learning it from scratch, while all the others were like hand-me-downs, doing somebody else was teaching us it.
Yeah.
Well, like Oklahoma, My Fair Lady, The Irish. Yeah. I'm trying like Caribbean, all of those. While Hollywood, we were all learning it from scratch. And it was like, this is exciting. And we were getting to do it with young Vivian.
Come over and do all that?
Yeah, we were doing it with Vivian and Ian. So it was. But
like all of the songs were so catchy.
Mm-hmm. Can you still do the hooray for Holly? And then do you remember we did it for Vivian's 80th?
I know, but we did them all. We did all of those routines for
But we started with 80th. Hooray for Hollywood.
I remember all those routines. So like genuinely, like muscle memory is ridiculous.
Because we were doing it so often.
Yeah. It's quite interesting. Like, I don't think I could remember the order in which the numbers come. But I could bang out the routine.
Well, one person who would remember absolutely everything is Gillian, because she's got the most amazing memory at things like that. So if we ever did anything with her, she's great at keeping us right. But I can remember them because I think it is like a muscle memory, and I'm like, no, I know doing that.
Yeah.
I know usually whenever we've had a couple of drinks, some sort of dance comes out.
Yeah, but not anymore. Because honestly, honest to goodness, that performance at Vivi's 80th nearly killed me.
Like, but we were rehearsing for weeks before that.
No wonder, because we're not spring chickens anymore, Lauren.
Oh, well.
Did you learn anything else from?
No, that's all I learned. And my standing ovation is putting on the Ritz.
I can't pick my standing ovation. Really? That's why I was like, oh, I can't. Like, I genuinely can't.
I do love it. Put on the Ritz.
Do you know what I love? I love the comedy characters in Top Hat.
Okay.
So
but you do love the comedy characters.
I think it's Madge and Victor, is it?
It is Madge and Yes, because Dale thinks that Jerry is married to Madge.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they sing a fantastic song. Outside of that, I love you.
Yeah.
And they're singing as a married couple about all of the things that really, really annoy.
But if
each
you
other
ignore
about
that,
them.
I really love
But
you.
outside of that, I love you. And it's very, very funny. And funny story, I recently saw Cabaret in London. And Herr Schreider, the older lady.
Oh, yes.
Isn't it Herr
Yeah.
Schreider? I think it is Herr Schreider. Or is that Sound of Music I'm thinking of?
I think you said this the last time. Anyway, yes, as in whenever we were doing cover.
Anyway, the older lady, the actress who was playing it was sensational. Everything about it was sensational, but she was, oh my God, she ripped your heart out and squashed it on the floor. But she was strangely familiar to me, and I was like, I recognize her face. Like, and I know her voice, and I was like, it was killing me. I was going, how do I know her? Like, what have I seen her in before? What have I seen her in before? So, unlike you, I'm terrible. Now, I don't buy programs because they're so bloody expensive.
The only place that isn't expensive is at Board Gosh.
Oh, very good.
And I have noticed that, sorry. But yeah.
Interesting. Okay. So I will just wait till it's over. And obviously, because in Cabaret, they give you a sticker and you have to put it over your phone. You can't use your phone. So I waited until I got back to the hotel and I looked it up. And it was an actress called Vivian Parry, who I saw for the very first time as Madge in Top Hat.
That's hilarious.
And I was like, oh my goodness, it was her. Like, she was in Top. And I loved her. Like, for weeks, I listened to that song. Outside of that, I love you. I hate the way you comb your hair. I hate that.
That's so strange.
Yeah, and she was brilliant. And she still is brilliant.
Yeah. See how everything just is all connected?
I know.
Schneider, is it?
Yeah.
Fräulein Schneider. So I was right.
Yeah.
Okay, phew. Because I don't want to get confused with the Sound of Music.
No.
Please no.
Okay. What would Patty do for this
I
week?
don't want this episode to end. I'm just saying I'm really enjoying talking about Top Hat.
Well, it's been lovely, and
I know.
if you don't want it to end,
Should we
we'll
just
do
have
the
a sing song? Let's do a sing song.
let's do the Hooray for Hollywood routine
Okay,
now.
great.
Okay, we'll do it on camera.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
what
God.
would Patty do? Okay, now I want you to listen to this whole thing because I know you're going to go, well, it's already happened, right? So, would you rather lose a shoe during a big tap number or suffer a costume tear, forcing you to complete the performance in a makeshift outfit? So, oh, the glasses are off. He's thinking about it. So, shoe comes off during the tap number, or your costume breaks, but you can't go on, and you've got to makeshift your costume.
Babes. Costume nearly came off and I was on stage and
No,
couldn't
I
go
know,
off.
but this is very specifically, you need to complete performance in a makeshift outfit. You didn't have to makeshift an outfit during your sharing of your bum.
Stuff it, I'd do that.
You do that rather than your tap shoe
Yeah,
fall
because
off?
I think that's the most frustrating thing. Actually, worse than the tap shoe falling off is the tap of the tap shoe coming off mid-routine. Isn't it the worst, though?
Do you know what
Isn't it the worst?
I can only compare that to, and I can't, but I can only compare that to a guitarist breaking a string halfway through a song. Yeah, that is the only thing that must be as frustrating.
Yeah.
I can't think, or a drummer breaking a skin or something like that, but it is the most frustrating. And you're like, fling, and then you lose the little screw, and then just like you carrying your screw in your pocket.
I have
your
a screwdriver
driver.
in my pocket because currently there's a screw in my glasses that just likes to loosen every 30 minutes. No. But the non-hoovers listening to this will not understand the annoyance that causes.
Yeah.
And it puts you off your step, and like tap's so intricate too.
Yeah.
Like that's something flat. It's when it clings on for dear life as well. You know, like say two out of the 3 screws comes out, and there's one bloody screw hanging in there for dear life, and you're like, do you know what it is? Just give up the ghost and come off too, because it would be much easier than this like swivel of a tap as you're trying to hoof around. So I would be okay with the wardrobe malfunction and having to come on
in a makeshift
whatever. You'd style it out, whereas you can't style a flappy tap.
No, true.
That was a great one.
That
had a bit of juice to it this week.
And also, just as we're talking about like annoyance with tap shoes, it's really annoying whenever you're tapping and your heel gets caught in, like, you know, if the floor isn't even. Do you remember we used to tap on a floor that wasn't even? And your heel got caught like in a bit of wood, and then you got your foot got stuck, and you're like, ah! You
nearly like catapult forwards because it's like, I haven't tapped for a long time, and it wasn't maybe a couple of weeks. Maybe a month and a half ago, I put them back on again because they were going for an audition and had asked for like a quick, half hour.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
Did you miss it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Should we go back?
And it was only when I put them back on, I went, and my sounds were still crystal clear.
Of
I'm
course.
not lying. Like I thought, because I'm sorry, you can fake a faker, but like, we'll know.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 100%.
Do you know what I mean? If you're like dummy fluting your taps. And I was like, I'm really proud of myself. My ankles can still move in this way.
Love it.
I felt it the next day though.
Oh, I'm sure.
And it was only like half an hour. And I was like
goodness.
It was basic steps. Like,
oh my goodness.
But I went, it did make me go, do you know what? If I had more time and there was an adult class, I'd go.
Yeah. It's the one thing that makes me proud whenever the kids are coming back and wanting to do a little bit of like tap practice, and I'll maybe get up beside them and like Aaron will go, you're actually really good at that. And I'm like, oh, thank you.
You still got it.
Like Aaron is very supportive of anything I do, but it's just lovely because that was like a child skill that I was like, oh, thanks, I can still do it.
Yeah. No, that's the thing with tap. I don't think you ever lose it. It's that muscle memory again, isn't it? I think it's such a specific skill or teaching. Do you know what I mean? That once you've been taught it, that's it. Like your ankles will always move like that. You'll always hear the beats that are missing. Yeah.
Oh, it's something. I love tap shows. We need to do more tap shows.
Yeah.
There needs to be more tap shows out there.
Or bring back the tap shows that there are. Like it's great. Bring back the top hats.
Yeah. Yeah.
People often think like Anything Goes. Maybe we said this when we did Anything Goes, that Anything Goes is a tap show, but it's not really. No. There's like one tap number in it.
Yeah.
If you do it as a tap number, and you don't even need to.
Yeah, true.
Do you know what I mean?
True.
But yeah.
Love
what
tap.
Other tap shows are there? 42nd Street, obviously. Crazy for You's got a good bit of tap in it.
Holiday Inn, is there the big tap?
Yes, there's the big tap in it. But again, is that like one number?
It could be one number.
White Christmas is mostly tap, isn't it?
Yeah. And then obviously in Young Frankenstein, there's at the end.
Yeah, putting on the Ritz tap. Newsies has a tap number.
Well done,
Aaron. We have taught you so much.
I know. And that is, again, another musical that we both adore, and we need to...
Yeah, we need to do, don't we?
We need to do. There's just so many.
Well...
We're making our way through them.
Making our way through them. One musical at a time, folks. Fancy that. But you'll just have to come back next week then, see what we're doing next week. Until then,
bye.
Bye.
Tune in as the memories grow.